So there's good news and there's bad news here. The good news is I have been working away. The bad news is I lost the hard drive on our computer. I lost all kinds of video footage of work and progress here, uh, and that was early January. That was tough. I lost so much stuff and I'm very disappointed, but these things happen. Unfortunately, I don't have video footage of spindle and stuff going back together here, but or not the actual spindle head. That I did that. I hate to say how many years ago now, but the spindle head was always built prior to me finishing everything else, or rebuilt. Um, but things have been going back together well here, and I'm just gonna try and get you updated here for those that have been following along for quite some time now. The knees on, nothing earth shattering here. Just making sure I had all the ways on the column cleaned up and from the painting and the taping and everything. So I got that done. Um, I don't have lube lines or anything of that yet. One thing I did do, I changed the set of gears here on the elevating screw, and there was a fair amount of noise before, and so that's a whole bunch better. And what I found was that, and I'm not sure what happened the previous time, but when you purchase this set of gears here, and the bearing that I replaced the bearing in the knee, and I had to machine the face of, not the face, but the bottom of this gear here in order to get the heights, the center line of the I'm not sure whether you call it a pinion. Anyways, to get the center line of this gear here in line so they meshed properly. And now everything there is nice and smooth, so I'm happy with that. And some of you have seen some of my 3D printing stuff maybe on Instagram or that, but this is going to go in here, and that's going to be a cover to keep chips off of the gears there eventually. And so that's kind of where it's at now. So next step is we're going to drop in the saddle and get that ready to go. Check my alignment on that 3D printed part. Make sure when the yoke goes through there that there's no binding or contact there. So that'll be it. We'll get working on that. A little bit of denatured alcohol to make sure it's good and clean. Just getting the saddle all cleaned up, and one of the things that I like to make sure is I run a tap. This is for the gib adjustment here. This is 5/16 24. Make sure everything's ready to go before you put it back on the machine. Just did a test fit with the yoke in there, and my 3D printed part here is, although it looks nice and all that good stuff, doesn't matter, it doesn't work. This flat here on this casting is, oh, I don't know, probably got about 50 thou clearance as the yoke rides past it. The yoke has a yeah, I think it's machined on that angle too. Anyway, so I got to modify my design here, reprint that, and I think I'm just going to have to try and follow this contour rather than this cone here. Hopefully I can get that to fit. One of the other things I wanted to take care of was getting the lock in for the gib on the knee, and I have searched high and low and near and far, and I have no idea what the heck I did with that. There's not very many parts left to go back on here, but that is one that is missing. I've got the handle. Got the handle and everything ready to go here. I got the little cap that goes on the end there, but I don't have the lock, which runs on this cam. It's an eccentric radius there that locks it. So I'll have to make one. So I've got that angle on there. Not sure whether anybody caught it or not, but I was using the side of the 5C collet holder to set that up when I should have been using the front, so I was off by 10 degrees. But the good news was it was the right way, and this was just a scrap piece of 4140 that I was hanging on to. But anyways, the angle was the wrong way, and I was able to take more off of this side here and still line up with this back edge here, which is now getting close, very, very close to hopefully being able to use it. So what I'm going to do now is I'll chuck it up on this 3/4 diameter in the collet closer here. Sliver. Surgery is complete. So now I'm just gonna clean up both the OD and face it off there. Because what happens is the shaft from the front handle comes in. That's where the eccentric pushes, and I got to dial in that depth. I got a drill point in there that I hope is not too deep. So I'm going to get this OD down to the 3/4. And then I got to get it in the machine and figure out how to get that depth. So that was close. It's probably not going to show up. It's just a witness mark where the eccentric on the lock rolled over. So yeah, I literally overshot it by probably about, I'm gonna guess, 20 thou, maybe half a mil. So I don't want to waste. So two things. I don't want to waste this part. I mean, I could make another one. The other thing I thought about and I realized is I think the original had a tapped hole in the center of this thing, so that, you know, depending on what happens, if it gets galled up or anything in there, you can probably put a puller on it and pull it out. So I want to make sure I do that. So I want to get a threaded hole in the middle, and then what I'm thinking is actually maybe a grindable ring that I can fine tune on the surface grinder to get exactly what I want for interference there. So I think that'll be my approach now, because even if I were to start to make another one, I still have this problem of figuring out that depth, and I want it to be accurate, so that when I roll the handle over, I don't have any issues there, and something that I can adjust, obviously. So anyways, that's going to be the direction now. I'm not going to waste this. I'm going to clean this face, get rid of that drill point there, put a threaded hole in there, and then start working on a ring that I can use as a grinding spacer there. So the next thing I wanted to get off the floor before it gets damaged. I spent a lot of time cleaning this thing up and sanding and filling and painting, obviously. I'm still looking for an original handle. This thing didn't have an original handle on it, so still looking for one of those. May even attempt to 3D print one now, but anyways, for now this will work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make up a couple of pins I think on the bottom one it'll be a fixed pin, and then on the top one it'll come in from the top and locate the door. Well, that's one more thing off the floor and back on the machine. I got that hopefully tight enough fit that there's no vibration, noise. The pin, this guy here, you can pull that. It's got a little handle on it. Pull that one out, and then the door comes off the bottom hinge. So, pretty happy with how that turned out. Not sure I'm going to put anything in there.